So any homeschooler who has been looking into math curricula has probably come across Beast Academy at some point in their research. I found a lot of flip-throughs of the main curriculum books, but I wasn't able to find a decent flip-through of the puzzle books. So I bought the level 1 puzzle book for my daughter, who is currently doing first grade math, not with Beast Academy, but with another curriculum. But she does enjoy logic puzzles and Sudoku and other types of like puzzly things like that. I thought I would get the Beast Academy level 1 puzzle book as a sort of supplement and stretch for her. So this is not a review. We have not used this yet. This is just my a flip through and my initial thoughts about it. If you would like to know how this goes with us later on, you can subscribe to my channel and I will follow up once she has started to use the program. This is not the main Beast Academy level 1 curriculum. This is an add-on that is sold as an option, either to be used with the Beast Academy curriculum or on its own. And just to be clear, this is not a teaching book. This is just puzzles. So I guess maybe your question might be, is this worth actually doing for your kid, actually getting for your kid? I'll say I think I paid $18 for it. It's a pretty decently sized book. It's around 200 something pages, but that counts the solutions in the back. But so there's a decent number of puzzles in here, and I think for the amount that you get, definitely worth the price. So when you look inside, you start out with their table of contents and how to use the book, and this is your golden key right here. In fact, let me just zoom in on this. Okay, this right here is your gold. So if you are using the Beast Academy curriculum, this is going to show you what books the puzzles here line up with. So the polyominoes are from book 1A. The difference pyramids are from book 1B, so you can sort of see where they're getting them from. However, they also do have a lot of new puzzles that aren't in the curriculum. The other thing that makes this part useful is, if you're not using the Beast Academy curriculum, it shows you what skill this is enforcing. So the number paths are working on counting within 100. The polyominoes are doing shapes and spatial reasoning. Sudoku is adding small numbers. The Decadots are addition, making 10. Difference pyramids work on subtraction. Greater than Sudoku uses comparison with the greater than and less than sign. Ordered paths is ordering numbers within 100. Skip counting crosswords is skip counting patterns. Magic summer, adding large numbers. Digit differences is subtraction within 100. Shape connect is measuring with a ruler. And then turn mazes is working on left and right. It doesn't say that in here, but I'll show you when we get to that part of the flip through. All right, so I'm gonna just flip through now and show you a few puzzles of each type that they have, just so you can see what they work on. But here is a quick overview of what they do have. Okay, so the first one is number paths, and in each chapter you get about 9 pages of puzzles. They start with the easiest puzzle. They have stars on the side to show you the difficulty level, and they work their way up to harder. In each chapter at the start, you get a little monster guy over here giving you some information about the type of puzzle, explaining how it works, giving you a finished example, and also your goals here and how to actually solve the puzzle. So with this one, you are just following a number path around, and you have to figure out a way to get from 1 to whatever the final number is, and fill in every single number in order that you pass through each box once. And then at the back of every chapter, they have strategies. So they have usually about, a good 4 pages of strategies to help your child learn how to do these puzzles. Now, if you do have a child on the younger side who is a beginning reader but good with numbers, you might need to help them read these strategies or interpret them. If they are an older child, they'll be able to check out these strategies themselves. the amount of help you need to give them is going to kind of be dependent on where they are at themselves. Okay, the next type of puzzle is the polyominoes. Just fit the shapes into the grid, the given shapes. And again, these are the easiest puzzles. And here is some of the hardest of this type. Then Sudoku. So this is like if you've played Sudoku. They tell you at the top which numbers you can use. So this cube is using 1 to 3 to fill out the rest of the numbers. And on top of it, they added a little twist. Okay, so the sum of the boxed in areas have to add up to the number in the corner. So this needs to sum to 5, this needs to sum to 3, this needs to sum to 4. And then here are some of the 5-star. I don't want to show too much of the books, but here's some of the 5-star puzzles. Then your next type of puzzle is Decadots. So in Decadots, the squares that touch a dot must add up to 10. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 0 is still 6, so that means you need a 4 here. It gets a little more complicated into the last puzzles here. So you can see that you have to figure out these need to add to 10. So this one and this one and this one all need to add to 10 because they touch this guy. Okay, so the difference pyramids, here's your little monster. And for these problems, what you are doing is the box above is the difference of the box here and the box here. So 9 minus 3 is 6. 10 minus 3 is 7. And 7 minus 6 is 1. So you had to use 1, 6, and 7. So you know your 1 goes here, your 6 goes here, your 7 goes here. And then, but they do get a little more complicated at the end, where you have missing boxes at the bottom and just in random places, and a much larger list of numbers to use. Then we have the greater than Sudoku. This is pretty much a standard Sudoku, except with a hint, and the hint would be that the greater number goes on the side of the greater than sign, and the lesser number goes on the less than sign side. So for example, in this box we need our 1 and our 2. Well, what is smaller? 1 goes here, 2 goes here, because 2 is greater and 1 is smaller. Okay, then we have ordered paths. This is very similar to the first puzzle, except that they're still sequential, but they are not going up by 1. They are just going up by random amounts that you can't really tell. You just have to make sure that you hit every number in the correct order. So for example, if we started at 18, we need to go down, over to 37, up, over, up to 73, and then down to 81. Okay, so then those were the easiest ones, and they do go up to 4-star here. So they get a little bit tougher. Okay, then we have skip counting crosswords. Basically for these ones, you have to skip count across, figuring out what pattern they're using. So for example, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. And they get a little more complicated. Okay, magic summer. Or this one, these little boxes are addition signs basically, and it's like Sudoku, but your row needs to add up to the number on the outside of the grid, but you have to picture this as your tens place. So this would be your 3 and this would be your 1. 32 plus 1 is 33. So that's working on place value and addition. And then here's some of the harder ones of those. Okay. Then we have digit differences. So this one I like because it is showing the relationship between addition and subtraction. We have 25 plus 4 would be 29, but also you could view it as 29 minus 4 is 25. Okay, then we have the shape connect. So in this one, you use a centimeter ruler to make either triangles or quadrilaterals, and you don't necessarily have to use every dot on the page. So that's also important to note. So this one wants you to use 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, and 5 centimeters. I don't know if you can see these dots, they're pretty small, but so this is 4 centimeters across. I already measured earlier. This is 5 centimeters and this is 5 centimeters. So you would have a triangle here and you ignore this guy up here. You do get a lot more dots on the back. Okay, and then the last section of puzzles is turn mazes. And these are showing how left and right are relative to the direction you are moving in. If you guys have ever played that Robo Rally board game with the robots that you have to turn left and right and you're all over the board, this is kind of like a very simplified version of that. So you come here, go around, up, oh, I need to turn right, boop, and then, oh, I definitely need to turn left here, go down, okay? And they do get a little more complicated at the end. Then in the very back of the book, they give you hints for all of the puzzles. So if you are stuck on any one puzzle, you can go to the back. Say you're stuck on this Sudoku puzzle. It'll say, okay, how can we fill in the highlighted square in the row below? And it'll say, use strategy 6. So if you still aren't sure from the hint, you can go take a look at what strategy 6 tells you to do. And that should give you enough information to deduce what your digit is there. Okay, so every single puzzle has one hint. And then finally, there's the solutions. And so your child can either check their own solutions or you can check them for your child, whichever you prefer. But every puzzle is included in the back. Okay, so my overall thoughts about this book are that they are a great way to stretch a child's thinking if they are into puzzles. I could see this being very frustrating for someone if they are already struggling with math or don't enjoy math or don't enjoy puzzles. So if your child doesn't enjoy math or is struggling in math, I wouldn't recommend this. But if your child is one of the types of kids that loves a good puzzle, loves to be challenged a little bit, this would be a great addition to your routine as just sort of like some fun extras you can do with them. The level of support they're going to need is obviously going to depend on where they're at in their math journey. Older kids would probably be able to do a lot of these on their own. Younger kids might need help reading the instructions. And they may only be able to do the very first puzzles, but I think you could, even if your kid can only do, say, maybe the easiest level of the puzzles, you could come back through the book and do the harder ones the next year. I love that the start of the book has the page that gives you the list of what skills every puzzle is working with, so that you can target specific skills with your child. My sort of idea for this is I'm going to put it in with her logic books and just have it be one of her free activities that she can pull out at any time when there's downtime in our day. Her Montessori school that she went to did have them do Sudoku puzzles, so it's something she's familiar with, that type of like abstract thinking. And I think this will be a nice way for her to get a little bit more of that, because I think she really does enjoy it. Okay, so if your kid is into puzzles too, they might enjoy the Beast Academy puzzle book. And they do have 5 levels of puzzle books for kids, corresponding with the 5 levels of Beast Academy. I honestly think these would be fun for any age kid. I actually myself went through the book and did the hardest level of all of the puzzles, and I found them somewhat challenging and enjoyable. So I can see how they would be a stretch for a younger kid. Yeah, if your kid is into abstract math puzzles, then this is the way to go.